Bop, bop. Okay, guys, welcome back to your Monday edition of Grimerica Outlawed Roundup, January 5th, 2026. Is this the first roundup of 2026? I guess it is.
The
Yes,
first
it is.
weekly Monday one, we did sort of like a similar type thing last weekend, but
First one, it's squatter removal and third term do over. I cannot guess yours. I don't
you
know.
cannot guess mine.
Because I don't know who's on a third term, or is this an insinuation that Trump's going to have a third term?
I I'm going to talk to you about a theory at the end of my presentation. That's going to be. I ended up saving these takes on Maduro and Venezuela and all that. Right, I ended up saving them all, and then I thought, do I want to talk about it or not? And I'm like, yes, I got to talk about it. But then the problem is, then I end up with and then I don't want to leave any of them out, right? So then I want to include everything. So then it becomes this big. Then it snowballs into this massive thing. So I don't really like to talk about things that are so fresh and so big in the news, but I feel like this is an interesting one, and we should do it. So I've got a big thing on that. And at the end, I've got my theory that I just came up with, texting you and prepping for the show.
Texting me?
Yeah, when we were going back and forth and I was prepping for the show, I came up with I thought, oh my God, this is it. I know what's going to happen.
Is it because of the extraction comment?
You can't.
No, I can't.
No, it's not. No, I don't want you to guess now because I got a whole thing to go through first, and then you can.
And I'm too good of a guesser. That's the real
I don't want
problem.
you to ruin the.
I'm too good of a guesser. That is the problem. Actually,
a lot of people freaking out on all sides again. I mean, this is just an amazing time. All kinds of stuff going on. People are freaking out. People are like, "Don't you dare call for the kidnapping of our prime minister."
is that not laugh? Is that that's faux pas? Is it? Well, I'm gonna start with this.
I guess it's treasonous if people joke around about like coming up here to kidnap other people.
Man, they were saying also they were talking about doing way worse things to Trudeau. You know,
it's kind of weird. It's like, well, he hasn't been indicted twice by the Supreme Court.
Well, I don't want to get into that until you do your thing because all my comments are going to lead to the same sort of conclusion, and it's just going to ruin your whole thing. But
okay. Yeah, let's
I did want to start with this. I'm going to go to the Hindustan Times. I don't know what this is. Is it probably some Indian newspaper? I'm assuming, but it is in English. So this says 1 million Indians in Canada lose legal status by mid 2026. According to data from Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada, or IRCC, approximately 1,053,000 work permits expired by the end of 2025, and another 927,000 will do so in 2026. Canada could soon have to come with a deluge of undocumented immigrants, nearly half of them from India, as record numbers of work permits expired in 2025 and will continue to do so in 2026. According to data from Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, or IRCC, approximately 1 million work permits expired by the end of 2025 and another blah, blah, blah. These statistics were obtained by Mississauga-based immigration consultant Kanwar Sira, who shared them with the Hindustan Times. As these work permits expire, their holders go out of status, living illegally in the country. So we're about to have 2 million illegal immigrants that were, kind of quasi. So basically a bunch of the immigrants you've been seeing around, probably like every second one's going to be an illegal soon.
Because it's not going to go, they're not going to go home, and because they're.
I mean, how many do you think go home?
Well, I mean, the way Canada's going, more than we think will go home.
I don't know, man.
I mean, didn't our population go down last month or last quarter for the first time?
It did, but I mean, a lot of people are dying. A lot of people going to the States, which isn't going to be an option for a lot of undocumented Indians. I haven't been to India. You have been to India. So
no, I haven't been to India. No,
you haven't.
I almost did. I almost went.
Because my assumption is that, I mean, I haven't been to India either, but I mean, the part of India that these guys are coming from is probably not great. It's probably like even a shitty Canada is better than what they got going over there. And they got like they're starting
Dude,
to get a
you don't
stranglehold
have
on the government. Why not just try and keep it up when you're starting to get a stranglehold on the government? It's like in BC, you're like 3 elections away from being a votable bloc that could become a majority party just of migrant Indians.
well, the
And then
winter
there's
for one thing. I mean, even putting aside Canada's economy, 6 months of snow and the winter driving and having to get all your
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I will pray to whatever gods you pray to. Living illegally in the country unless they transition to another visa or obtain permanent residency. Each of these pathways has narrowed with the Canadian government, has continued the process of curbing immigration, particularly the non-permanent categories that include international students and temporary workers, while also introducing new norms to mitigate burgeoning asylum claims. It's going to get very chaotic, Sierra said, alluding to the number of immigrants in danger of losing legal status in the country. He pointed out that Canada has never had to contend with such high numbers of people going out of status. The first quarter of 2026 alone will have a record high of nearly 315,000 expiries. So that's like 100,000 a month. Can you even can you even fly 100,000 people out of the country? I guess you could, right?
No, I don't think so. That's what, 3,000 a day? That's
3,000 a day. That's like 10 full flights, maybe 12. 10 if it's the big ones, 9 or 10, somewhere 9 to 12. In the last quarter of 2025, that number was over 291,000. And the crazy thing is, though, that when you are flying around and you talk to people that are flying internationally, the Indians still seem to be heading in the other direction. It's not when you fly to Europe, your plane's full. It's when you fly back.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing right away, right? Which is glaring to me. So there's going to be a bottleneck. So there was no plan for this then, right? I mean, shouldn't the government, if you do that, if you bring in 1 million people, then you know that in 2 years or however many years, 3 years, they're going to expire, and then you have to deal with it, right? Has there not been any plan at all? These numbers are easy to plan for, right? Okay, now we have to re-visa 500,000 people every quarter or whatever it is. I think we don't even have the resources to do it.
You should run for government. I mean, you could run the finance department probably with that. You're perfect for the job. Sounds like
my business process re-engineering is there's no way I could apply that experience to the government.
It's
too doji. I would lose my mind.
This phenomena of a growing undocumented population in the country has led to societal issues like encampments in wooded areas of the Greater Toronto area or the GTA like Brampton and Caledon. Yeah, did you hear about the encampments?
No, that has to do with this.
Yeah. Brampton-based journalist Nitin Chopra, who documented one such tent city there, said there was anecdotal information of out-of-status immigrants from India working for cash and fly-by-night operators, opening bureaus for marriages of convenience. Wow, that sounds great. Because I'm assuming that's like marry me for papers.
I guess.
You get paid for something like that?
I mean, I don't know how that works.
Groups like Now John Support Network, an activist group for workers' rights, are planning to protest the evolving immigration situation in January, including the crisis of expiring permits.
What are they protesting? They knew this. I don't understand this. It's only for so many years. What are you protesting?
Well, they were under the illusion that it would be a path to citizenship.
You think it's infinity? Infinite?
Infinite. So
it's just infuriating, dude. I don't know.
It's not the worst news though, right?
I had an article to share with you, but I don't know what happened to it. It went, this is a month or two ago, about a guy who was talking about the different types of people that come over and the crime syndicates and the different culture, right? Like my mom, I remember my mom telling me, because she lived in Uzbekistan, right, which used to be part of the USSR, right? And then when it split off on its own country, when Russia, when the wall fell and all that happened, right? And she would tell me that she learned from living there and all that they have a completely different idea of cheating and all this stuff, right? Like she said, well, the Russians don't, they just think it's normal to cheat, right? Like they don't think of it as we think, like, oh, you're cheating. They're just like, if you can cheat to win, then you cheat to win. Like it's a completely different thing. So, and that goes for other areas too, right? They have different ideas of what's okay, what's not okay. And when you send millions of men to our country and they just think it's okay to scam, like you don't have to work above the table, you just scam, do whatever you can to make ends meet. It doesn't bode well. It's a disaster waiting to happen.
It's a disaster. Yeah.
America frustrated over Minnesota. That's exactly what I'm trying to get at, Jim. But it's not necessarily. It doesn't have to be a race thing. It's more of a culture thing. And if we allow it to, like, we shouldn't allow it to happen. There shouldn't be a two-tier justice system. It should be here. You come over. These are our laws. You follow the laws, and they get upheld like they should, equal and fair to everybody. But that's not the way it is. So that's why it feels like a controlled demolition.
Controlled demolition. Well, obviously, you must have heard about this already. Our finance minister, ex-deputy, what's going on? How come it ain't working? Is it frozen? Why is it frozen?
It just didn't. I don't know. It was spiraling.
Mine, it's all frozen still on my end. I can't see shit.
Well, it is cheating, Rob. Doing whatever to win is not cheating. Of course it is. Use the best tactic to win versus losing. You can't say that. I mean, you obviously have to follow some social norms or unwritten laws or real laws in order to win. You're not supposed to be able to just cheat to win.
My shit is frozen.
It's fair. I mean, it's just like in a hockey game. Well, so you think diving all over the place is okay, I guess. I mean, if you think that diving is okay to win, then, but I mean, like the Czechs will dive all over the place. I mean, I played against the Czechs and they are divers. It's a real thing. They dive all over the place. It gets so fucking frustrating. You bump into them and they just flop on the floor. That's their way. But I mean, I don't know. I don't see the respect and the honor in that.
No, it seems like my shit unfroze and stuff. So speaking of no respect or honor, I mean, you remember Christina Freeland?
Doge shouldn't have been. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. Yeah.
Christina Freeland was the finance minister.
Chrystia
Freeland was a finance minister, deputy prime minister that sent like $20 billion or so, give or take, to Ukraine. Now she's going to go work in Ukraine. She has resigned her seat in parliament, which is good news, I guess. But Zelensky, I mean, it can't be a coincidence, right? You're just moving to the country that we gave a bunch of money to, like you haven't siphoned off 100 million into an account of your own. That's, as far as I'm concerned, you're moving to Ukraine to just be ultra rich now, do whatever you want. So this is from Zelensky, that is piece of shit. Today, I appointed Chrystia Freeland as an advisor on economic development. Chrystia is highly skilled in these matters because Canada's gone great, right? The Canadian economy is so on fire in her tenure, and has extensive experience in attracting investment and implementing economic transformations. Right now, Ukraine needs to strengthen its internal resilience, both for the sake of Ukraine's recovery, if diplomacy delivers results as swiftly as possible, and to reinforce our defense, if blah, blah, blah. So that is one of our sitting House of Parliament members is going to work for Zelensky, a person she's signed off on giving billions and billions and billions of dollars to.
20,000 million.
Oops.
You shouldn't say the B word. It's 20,000 million.
24,000 million, I think.
24,000. I mean, $24,000 is a lot. We're talking about $24,000 million.
$24,000 million. Yeah. That's messed up. Do you want to take a turn?
Yeah, but mine's going to be big. So,
is it all the Venezuela stuff already?
Yeah, it's going to be the Maduro stuff. Yeah. I mean, because I don't know how long it's going to take. So I kind of have to fit it into either this half or the second half. So I thought we might as well do that in the first half, right? I guess.
Let's go to the New York Times, which is weird, but here we are. 10 people are convicted of cyberbullying France's first lady. The defendants made false claims about Brigitte Macron, the wife of President Emmanuel Macron of France. They made false claims. So I guess has it been proven?
Let's see. They use a real feminine picture of her too, of course, right?
Probably the most.
That's probably the nicest picture she's ever had taken of her.
It doesn't look like there's an Adam's apple at first glance, but anyway, yeah, 8 men and 2 women were charged for harassing her, online harassment. Charged for her online harassment. 3 of whom were tried in absentia, which I'm assuming is meaning they didn't show up. Were given a range of sentence. One received 6 months in jail. Other punishments stretched from mandatory online harassment awareness training to an 8-month suspended jail sentence. The court also fined each 600 euros and ordered them to contribute a total of 10,000 euros in compensation to Mrs. Macron. So they got to pay this bitch. 5 of those convicted were also barred from using the social media platform involved in the case, X, for 6 months. They were tried after posting messages and photos on social media that wrongly suggested that Ms. Macron, the wife of President Emmanuel Macron of France, was born a boy called Jean-Michel Trogno. The name of her older brother. The 7 defendants tried in person denied wrongdoing, variously saying their posts were either meant in jest or constituted a legitimate debate. Only one apologized. That was probably the one that didn't have to go to jail. So anyway, Miss Macron, 72, met her husband when he was 15, and she was his 39-year-old drama teacher. She later divorced her husband and married Mr. Macron in 2007. Shit show. They're suing Candace Owens for slander in the United States. So she might have to pull it out then in the United States.
Pull it out. That dude's getting a lot of money, like Rob says. Yeah, 100K, 100,000 euros for being slandered.
Yeah,
not a bad business.
It's not a bad business. I'm sure I'm getting slandered up and down today a little bit with that stupid letter I wrote going. I found like a few posts where that people have grabbed onto it and posted it, and got like more comments than I'm interested in reading. You know, as soon as it's like over 10 or 20, I'm like,
Is this on Facebook or X?
Facebook. I've only found it on Facebook so far, with maybe like combined 700-800 comments on it.
I mean, we should probably mention it, right? So it's the Indigenous Opinion Substack, and it's called Open Letter to, who is it again?
To the leadership of Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation and to Alberta's chiefs. I mean, more specifically to Chief Sunshine, the guy that's just coming out and immediately fighting Alberta separatism without using as a bargaining chip. You know, and to some extent, we need them on board if we're going to do it. There's going to be a negotiation period, and you'd think you'd be just immediately going to that. And maybe he is negotiating, you know, just in a shitty way. He's just like, nah, it ain't happening. But maybe just wants someone to pull out their checkbook.
Or he's getting paid already to push back.
Well, that's kind of the point of my letter. But the interesting thing is that it did get almost big enough to warrant a response.
From him?
Yeah, I doubt it'll happen, but it's like, I mean, it's not as big as his, but the reaction is more positive than it was to his.
Right. Sunshine go away today. Yeah.
It definitely got big enough. I mean, it's more viral than anything I wrote, for sure. So it got read thousands and thousands and thousands of times.
What is more viral than what you wrote?
Actually, you know what? That glyphosate thing was probably more viral. I think that got read like 17,000 times. But this one got read probably, 5, 6, 7,000 times now.
John's asking, do you think we're at a spot where Albertans can discuss separation openly? I don't know if you mean like openly in social environments or openly on the internet. We are discussing it openly online. it's just getting attacked really hard from the right
You
and
can
the
go sign the papers
sorry,
now.
not the right, the east.
The offices are open right now.
There is a petition out, right?
The petition has started.
So the petition is out.
Yeah. So we can vote. We can. I think we need maybe 200,000 votes.
177,000, I think I saw.
Yeah, maybe 177. Basically, call it 200,000 is probably the safest bet. So we'll see what happens.
And then it gets put on and then it gets put on like an official referendum, right? Like a ballot referendum.
Then it gets put on an official referendum, which would happen this October.
This October. So they have a year, not less than a year. So 9 months basically to get 200,000 signatures.
No, I think you need the signatures by May.
Oh, right. It's only 3 months or something. Yeah. 3 or 4 months. Okay.
Which should be fine because I think they had like 400,000 or 500,000 of the people that signed up and pledged to sign it.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to be, people got to get thick skinned. They're going to attack it hard. I mean, X is already filled with so much hate about it. It's annoying to me. I got to stay off X and just try and like separate out prepping for the show and stuff like that. Cause it's just, it's infuriating. Like, why don't you look at why people want to separate? Like, there's no fucking self at all. No, like looking at what's going on in the country for the last 10, 12 years, why people are not happy. Like, come on, hold your side accountable for something. I mean, that's what the right is different than the left in the States and in Canada. It's more factioned. It's more separated and not as culty as the left, just following everything their side does, no matter what, because everything to the right of the left is called the right. So we're all kinds of different factions in there, right? There's the libertarians and the anarchists and the conservatives and the right wingers. And like in Canada, it's weird because there isn't really a lot of right wingers past the conservatives. And the conservatives are very center. But even still, we don't like us, for example. But I mean, we're not a good example because we're not really political in that way. We don't really, hitch to either side. But the people on the right will complain about Pierre and the right a little bit more than the left.
They'll rip them apart. I mean, almost.
They'll rip them apart. Yeah.
Some of them are just fanboying, but other ones just torch both sides and have nowhere left to go. That's kind of anyway. My Facebook just started pinging off like crazy, so I shut it. I put my Facebook in private mode.
So did you see any of the negative answers at all, or?
I seen a couple. Yeah, there's definitely a few in there, but it was mostly positive. Honestly, most of the negative stuff seemed like people that didn't quite fucking read it or didn't comprehend it. Like it was almost like too much for him to like put two and two together. I actually had one guy like freak out at me and then come back later and apologize and be like, I fucking read it wrong. Sorry.
Right. I bet you they don't realize how anarchist that is, that whole thing, in a way. I mean, maybe anarchist is not the right word, but can you just tell everybody what the gist of it was?
So anyway, I locked my shit down because I don't need a bunch of weirdos fucking creeping my Facebook over it, It's too much. It was just an open letter to Buddy asking him what I mean, I don't want to read it because it's just a bit long and a bit much, maybe. But it ends with
it's not that long. Read it.
God damn it.
Pull it up and read it. And then I'll get it. And then I'll get it.
Well, I told you that I was happy that because it was going viral, it didn't have my fucking face attached to it.
Oh yeah, sorry, dude. And now
face to it. You read it. So it says an open letter to the leadership of Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation and to Alberta's chief. To the leaders of Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation, I am asking this openly because after 150 years of living under the so-called trust of the Crown and the federal government, nobody ever seems willing to answer it straight. What exactly about the current system is good enough for you? Is it the fact that Indigenous kids make up roughly 54% of children in foster care? Is it the suicide and addiction rates, which are many times higher than the rest of the population, 8 times higher in some places? Is it that more money than ever is being spent on indigenous issues, yet our communities are still broken, overcrowded, addicted, and dependent, with little to show for it in real infrastructure, real ownership, or real opportunity? For 150 years, chiefs from coast to coast have been bought off, managed, or absorbed into the system, and our people are the ones paying the price. The system doesn't reward results, it rewards compliance, it rewards managing poverty, not ending it. So tell me plainly, what is working? What benefit are you enjoying today that couldn't be enjoyed and exceeded on land actually owned by our people, deeded to us, not held by the federal government, and managed by chiefs who answer to Ottawa before they answer to their own people? Tell me, Chief Sunshine, what treaty right are you enjoying that couldn't be exercised on land that can be developed, leveraged, passed on, and defended like everyone else's in this country? And while you're at it, explain this part too. What about the other nations in Alberta? What about our people as a whole? Shouldn't something this fundamental be discussed openly as a people? I am a treaty Indian in Alberta. Nobody asked my opinion. Nobody asked the opinion of countless others like me. Yet decisions are announced, statements are issued, and positions are blasted all over social media in some pathetic attempt at relevance, as if a Facebook post counts as consent. So again, I ask, what change are you actually against? Are you against our people owning land outright? Are you against breaking permanent federal control? Against ending a system that has produced dependency, addiction, and despair for generations? If the current system is so good, then defend it honestly, not with slogans, not with lectures, not by calling anyone who questions it a sellout or a traitor. Defend it with results. Explain why, after 150 years, we should believe that more of the same will somehow fix what it created. Our people deserve an answer. So yeah, that went viral, and now
I like it a lot.
I had to
Shit.
shut my Facebook down, and
Because he was pushing back against the separation pretty hard, right?
yes, I think he challenged it in court already. It's like I would be making a list of demands. So first of all, I'd be forming some sort of fucking council between the separated bands in Alberta and say, how are we going to handle this? You know, and everyone needs to be, there should be town halls on this shit. It's a unique opportunity, a real unique opportunity. So we'll see what happens.
At first, I thought there was something in there about the government, being able to actually kind of have access to our land, even over and above the treaty land, like what we talked about with the city of Calgary on the show last
that's
weekend.
like
That's a different issue, right?
That's a different issue. You got to deal with one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And like I say, I think that the Chiefs are a problem because they're getting paid, and now we don't. So it's like, because the one thing I have got is messages from like half dozen treaty Indians that are like, me and my whole family feel the same way. So it's like there's no Indians freaking out on me for anything ever.
Right.
Like any of the negative stuff is like people that are taking it out of context are just people that hate Indians in general. And they're like, fuck y'all, which is fine. But from the native community, the response has been so far 100% positive.
And this is kind of going back to the core problem with what's happened with the Truth and Reconciliation Committee and with the land acknowledgements and all. Like, people are getting this fatigue, right, with the whole woke signaling about the indigenous. It's working against the communities, right? Just like it worked against the Black communities, and Black Lives Matter worked against it, and affirmative action works against it in the States, like all that stuff. It's kind of backfired. All this virtue signaling is backfired. Now there's probably more racist than there was when we were trying to work together with everybody.
Yeah, and somebody's stealing the money. Like, I don't know where the fuck money's going, but somebody's stealing it. I don't know if it's the Chiefs or if it's a bunch of people along the line, but someone's stealing the money. I don't know where the fuck it's going. I ain't getting any of it. I ain't getting a dime of it. So and from what I, the people I'm talking to on my reserve aren't getting any of it either, and they're all poor as shit. I mean, I talked to my buddy so I have a good friend that's on my reserve quite a bit doing construction, and he's like, it looks like fucking Afghanistan, man. He's like, it's like be glad you're not living there. So it's like, where's the money going? And the thing is that it's like the Chiefs are doing all right, but I don't get the sense that they're multi-millionaires either. You know what I mean? So it's like there seems to be money getting siphoned off at all levels, and I'm not giving the Chiefs a pass because I think they are taking lots of it, and they're not.
But it's
picking
probably
up
an NGO network too, and
yeah, exactly. It just seems like it's too much. If the Chiefs were all taking that much money, there'd be like they'd have to be much better off unless they were just stashing it someplace. But some of them wouldn't be, and even the ones that are doing really well aren't doing like 8 figures well. It's like a 7 figures well, or maybe low 8s well. But it's like we're talking about $60 billion or something like that they're throwing at this fucking thing a year. Where the hell is that all going? That's $100 million per reserve. $100 million per reserve. Where the fuck did that go?
Yeah.
There's only 2,500 people on my reserve. So $100 million a year, that would be like, either my chief has to have all shitloads of money, which he doesn't really, he's, like I say, he's got a nice truck and all that kind of stuff, but I don't get the sense that the dude's stashing, he's got millions and millions of dollars. The Indians are good at hiding money, man. We just fucking spend it. So if that was 100 million going to my res, we're talking about what, a 25th of a million each, or 250, or whatever it is, man. It's like a measurable amount of money. It's a measurable amount of money. Fucking 50 grand, something like that. Anyway, my whole point on this at the end of the day with it is like, A, I want to separate. And B, I want to, like, this is a chance for us to just not have this stupid Indian Act and everything else. I mean, we figured out whether it's maybe you're a province in the new country and you have jurisdiction there and you're in charge of the cops and you're in charge of that. But, we could figure out something that's fucking better than this easily.
Exactly.
And we'll never have a stronger negotiating thing with any government than we have with this government, with this movement right now.
That's a really good point.
If all the fucking Indians got behind it, then it'd just be like, seems way more likely to happen.
You're going to work yourself into a job here.
Oh, dude, I'm already fucking getting. Dude, these guys were emailing me before this shit.
You're like, look, I have a podcast. Yeah. Before you fucking get all excited about me coming and helping you out, just look at my Twitter account, please. Look at my podcast. You got to know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, we'll never have a stronger negotiating thing to just start moving forward with all of it behind us. Like, actually, whether it's fucking land, whether it's a couple, I don't know what it looks like. No, ideally nobody's happy. The Indians are kind of pissed off and the fucking whites are pissed off too. Nobody's sort of happy, but in 10 years, it's a fucking bygone thing that nobody even thinks about anymore because it's done. We signed on the line. We made the fucking deal. We can move forward in a new country that's extremely fucking wealthy. That's the thing to think about. It's not like we're broke and we got to make a deal. It's like we're sitting on the 3rd largest oil reserve in the world. We got a shitload of natural gas. So it's like we have money coming out of our fucking ears. Even if oil gets cheap, it don't matter. We'll never have a problem selling oil, whether it's to the States or to someone else. So it's like there's enough money to make some fucking deals that are worth paying attention to. And the Indians are on the land already. So it's not like there'd be a huge pushback from saying, all right, carve it up. Because that's what I'm saying is it's time for the fucking chiefs and shit not to be in charge of all this land. It's like time to carve it up, man. It's for the people so they can build it up. They can do what they want with it. They can mortgage it. They can pass it down. They could, whatever they want to do with it. But it's time for the reserves to be divvied up and given to the people.
And to see if a country can actually make it without starting fresh, without all this corruption. It looks like on paper it can do it budgetarily, right? Like with expenses and all that, and revenue and taxes and the pensions. Like, just cut out all the corrupt shit, start from scratch, a small country, lots of resources, give it a go, see if it can work. Like, oh my God, so exciting. And people just flipping out about it.
Flipping out.
Freaking out. I mean, the East is just freaking out. So I don't know. Should we get into?
Oh, we better not get into it. I don't want to get Kyle in trouble.
What? No.
Oh, and the thing, I got to do this other thing first.
Okay. All right.
Tell me this ain't the most dystopian.
Well, technology and nature.
The dystopian. Blah, 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 blah. Tell me this ain't the most dystopian thing you've ever seen.
Well, technology and nature are often at odds. In the name of progress, the natural environment can often suffer. But a scientific breakthrough in Europe could help us reduce pollution concerns right around the world.
As the global population continues to rise and our major city centres contend with pollution, scientists have been working fervently to find a solution. Enter Liquid 3, also known as the liquid tree. Developed in Serbia, this clean energy project is designed to replace the function of trees in heavily polluted urban areas where planting and growing real vegetation is not viable. The Liquid 3 acts as an algal photobioreactor. Air pumps suck in pollution, the microalgae feeds on the carbon dioxide and releases oxygen as a byproduct.
It uses microalgae, which are basically very similar to plants. They perform photosynthesis, they catch carbon, they emit oxygen. The reason we are using microalgae, in addition to be very efficient when it comes to carbon removal, is that they can sustain a huge amount of pollution. They don't care about carbon dioxide. They basically love to have additional levels of carbon dioxide.
Don't all plants love to have additional levels of carbon dioxide?
Yeah, they do, but you can't plant them all in cities, I guess.
So you just put these huge vats of green goo. It makes me think of Soylent Green.
Yeah.
Liquid 3 really thrives.
Good idea. It's like alchemy.
In spaces and areas that are impacted by council planning and regulatory restrictions. Pedestrian areas, tunnels and metro stations are all prime locations for installation.
A couple of these in a small area that has basically a limited airflow would make a difference. Currently, the best impact would be in parkings, maybe closed parkings, or in metro stations, because you cannot put any greenery there. Nothing would survive, basically, and Liquid 3 will.
With global concerns surrounding...
But he's in his bathroom, I'm pretty sure.
And carbon footprints and net neutrality,
right? Isn't this the shower
He's
curtain?
doing liquid too.
That's the thing. Anyway, so I got that, and then I'll get this one before you get into your long thing, because it'll be hard to transition out of that once you're into it. Have you ever heard? So this is interesting because we had it's AI, so sorry for that already. But who do we have on talking about information? What was his name? Information First.
Information First. Oh, Ryan Kralik.
Ryan Kralik. So this is the second law of infodynamics, which made me think it's kind of a long clip. We can stop it or we can let it go. We'll see how it goes. But this made me think of that episode. This is unraveling the second law of infodynamics.
Have you ever wondered why time only moves in one direction? It's a question that has puzzled scientists and philosophers for centuries. The answer may lie in the intriguing world of infodynamics, a fascinating branch of physics that deals with the flow of information in physical systems. This is not the flow of information as we know it, like sending a text message or reading a book. This is about how information moves and changes within the very fabric of the universe itself. At the heart of infodynamics lies a fundamental principle known as the second law. This law guides the flow of information, much like an arrow pointing the way for time. The second law of infodynamics is not just about physics, it's about understanding the nature of time itself. So, what is the second law of infodynamics and why does it matter? Well, let's dive into it. At its most basic, the second law of infodynamics is all about entropy. Now, entropy might sound like a complicated term, but it's really just a fancy way of talking about disorder. Picture a pile of sand. Each grain is in a random place, right? That's high entropy. But if you could somehow arrange each grain perfectly, that would be low entropy. Now, the second law of infodynamics states that in a closed system, that's a system where nothing is coming in or going out, entropy will always increase over time. In other words, things tend to get more disordered, not less. But where does information come into this? Well, information is a way of describing order. If you know exactly where every grain of sand is, you have a lot of information. But as the sand pile gets more disordered, you lose that information. It spreads out and becomes less ordered. This law also gives us insight into why time seems to move in one direction. You see, if you watched a movie of a sand pile becoming more ordered, you'd instinctively know it was being played in reverse. Why? Because it contradicts the second law of infodynamics. Things get more disordered as time goes on, not less. So the second law of infodynamics.
So this obviously relates to AI and the entropy that Adam Curry is always talking about.
Isn't just about entropy and information, it's about the fundamental nature of time itself. It's why we remember the past, but not the future. Why we can make choices that affect what happens next, and why we grow old. In essence, the second law of infodynamics is what gives time its forward direction. Why should we care about the second law of infodynamics, you might ask? Well, this law is not just an abstract scientific concept, but a fundamental cornerstone that shapes our understanding of the universe. By helping us comprehend why time seems to only march forward, never backward, it offers an explanation to our perception of time's unidirectional flow. It's like an unseen arrow, constantly guiding us from the past through the present towards the future. Moreover, it provides insights into why certain processes in nature are irreversible. Ever wondered why a broken glass doesn't spontaneously piece itself together, or why a cup of coffee doesn't unmix itself? It's the second law of infodynamics at play, dictating that certain events can only unfold in one way, not the other. So when we talk about the second law of infodynamics, we're not merely discussing a physical law. It's a lens through which we view the world, a guide to the fundamental workings of our universe. It's a key to understanding the very fabric of our reality. So, the second law of infodynamics is not just a...
I think that's enough of that. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it could explain why the AI seems to have peaked so early. You know, it's just too much for it. It can only make it worse. There's no way to like, other than like trying to launch a new model, I guess, and give it a new way to dissect the information, but it's always just gonna be the best right in the beginning for a small amount of time and slowly get worse. Which is my personal experience as a pretty heavy AI user. Right? What about you? We're probably using AI more than most people. It's getting better and worse at the same time.
But I feel like it's the opposite in real life though well, maybe that's why, maybe that explains civilizational and cultural collapses too. I mean, it just gets, maybe that's part of why we collapse. I saw a great video on civilization collapses and stuff, and not like from external things, but just what happens when you go into the cities and then the cities develop and then you have to bring people in, and what happens in a society. Maybe that's the same thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Just you can control the entropy or manage it for a certain amount of time and be productive until it just eventually, once a city gets to a certain amount of size, then it's fucked.
Yeah.
It's game over.
Yeah, I was thinking about how we should be designing like the next phase of humanity, knowing all this now. If we don't completely collapse, will be to design like spread out living communities and stuff. So it'll be more like medium density or low density, spread out through the the woods or wherever, you know, the acres and acres upon land that are on the earth, and we'll have to spread out a little bit instead of going so high up and so concentrated, and have things kind of more locally sustainable.
Well, I got one more.
Okay, well, let's do this. What do you have for the second half? Why don't I save all that big segment for the second half on the Maduro stuff and Trump and all that, and then I'll do a couple like esoteric things in here for the end of the first half.
Could do that. Could do that because we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
I got this one here, which is actually this chick is new mayor Mamdani. I got just looking at that guy. He looks like fucking trouble. He looks like trouble with his slick suit. I mean, he looks like a villain. He looks like a villain. He looks like an arch villain, but I might just be racist. Anyway, this is his tenant director, C. Weaver. Will transition from treating property as an individual good to a collective good. Whites especially will be impacted.
No way.
Anyway, you ready?
Just picking out why will the white? Oh my God. Okay, do it. Go.
I think the reality is that for centuries we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and we are going to transitioning to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity will require that we think about it differently, and it will mean that families, especially white families, but some POC families who are homeowners as well, are going to have a different relationship to property than the one that we currently have.
What do you think?
Well, I think that they don't understand that humanity, like, we need to be able to own stuff, like, you know, living, you know, owning nothing and being happy is not really possible. We need to. I've just experienced it in firsthand in my life, where I've seen somebody take that step to owning property and just becoming a completely different, I shouldn't say completely different person, but you could see them glow, you could see them change, you can see them grow with actually the ownership of property. I think it's a human, it's a deep need that we have for humanity. And this collectivist stuff is just ignoring all that, and it's not going to work.
What do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're going to start like throwing people into spare bedrooms and stuff?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
That would be like,
you can't have unoccupied
houses. No Airbnbs first, like no unoccupied houses, and then no
air POC. So it'll be air POC.
Air POC. I don't want that out. Anyway, probably time to escape from New York. Fuck you, Kyle. Also, only racist. All right, just kidding. I love you, buddy. Where do you want to go next? You want to take a turn? Everything I got can almost wait till the. Oh wait, I didn't do my squatter thing yet, though.
Okay, yeah, keep going. I can just do the second half, and I'll save all that esoteric stuff for later, for another time.
So this is a exit strategy for us. As God damn it. As you know, if we need to, we have if the donations keep going down, we got a chance to get it. If we can't get enough people to sign for Plus. California man armed with a samurai sword, grenades, AR-15s, and M90 shotgun. I mean, this sounds awesome too. M90 shotguns offer squatter removal service with a 95% success rate.
What?
The ASAP squatter removal CEO, James Jacobs, removes squatters in Northern California. He's been in business for 7 years. Jacobs says the company first conducts surveillance to confirm the squatters are on the property illegally. Then they perform what he calls a breach and clear. Lease agreements with property owners allow his team to enter and remove squatters. The cost of using ASAP squatter removal to get a squatter off your property starts at $10,000. And I get the sense that this guy just gets to go from place to place living there too.
He just loves it. Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, bust them out, kick him out.
So here he is doing his sword moves. Let's have a listen.
Breaching is breaking into the property And then clearing is actively going through the rooms and making sure there's no active threat.
According to Jacobs, lease agreements are signed between him and the property owners to allow his team to go in and remove squatters. And it's not just samurai swords used.
AR-15s, we have M90, shotguns.
He's been in the work of removing squatters for 7 years and says it's a completely legal process. I talked with Cron 4 legal analyst Stephen Clark, who says that might be the case, but that the tactics used to remove someone from a property could lead to a criminal liability.
The samurai sword is a deadly weapon, and if there was a confrontation with a tenant or someone overstaying on the property, and that samurai sword was used to inflict injury, that could result in a criminal prosecution.
Clark recommends going through law enforcement and the court process required to remove someone from the property. Jacobs disagrees, saying he's well aware of the risks, which is why he takes precautions to avoid legal battles down the road.
I have a $1 million insurance policy. I have an in-house attorney. Heck, people make wrongful claims against my business all the time just to try and get money.
All the time. People are like, this dude came at me with a fucking sword.
I love it. I love how he's just got the sword there. Surprised he doesn't have a shield too, or something, or some armor to put on. But it's interesting how bad it's gone down there. I had a friend that had squatter problems, and it's like it's bad because even legally, it's hard to get him out of there. Like, no wonder why there's a need for this guy. Everyone's monitoring them. They go out, they breach the place, they go in, they hide out. The other people come back. They're like, "This is no longer your house. You're out of here."
Squatter removal.
Beware the eviction samurai. Yeah, the sword's a weird touch on that whole thing. Why the sword? That's not messy. That's not messy. Messier than a gun.
Well, not only that, I can't take you seriously. You're like a fucking retard now. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna. Who goes in thinking if I have a samurai sword, I'm gonna look cool. Chicks are gonna dig it. You know, like he couldn't have read that fucking situation more poorly. Maybe have like a sidearm, like on a holster.
Well, he's got guns too, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying from a optics standpoint, you look like fucking George Michael in the garage playing Star Wars. Whereas if you just have a nice piece on your hip, you look like a professional. And also, I don't want to fuck with you. I'm not scared of this guy. I think he's a dork. The next squatter, after the squatter sees this interview, he's going to go in there with a samurai sword, and Buddy's going to kick him in the chest. And with his M5 949, you know? Doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. Anyway, you can take a turn.
Well, do we want to move on or
into the second half of the show?
Okay, let me do one thing then in this first half, because we talked about Stranger Things and all that. Right?
Did we? Oh
yeah. Remember when it ended? The show ended not. So I wanted to read this post from Nick Hinton. He's going to come back on our other show, the Grimerica show, in a couple months, maybe a few months in the spring or something. He was on, I think, back in 2018, 2019 or something. So I want to know what you think about this. Stranger Things, Scientology, Stargate, and Martian Jesus. Because ever since we did that segment on the Stranger Things and Stranger Truths and all that, there's been some deeper stuff that I forgot to even talk about. I forgot to tell you about the nod to the Philadelphia experiment too in there. And also the Montauk nod. I think they actually talked about going back to the last finale, had one of them going back to Montauk or going to Montauk to live, which is a really weird nod to the actual place that went through some of the MK Ultra stuff. So it did get pretty weird. And there was
isn't that what we would do though if we were making the show?
Totally.
You know, if we got, I mean, throwing it out there, if someone wants to like hire us as consultants for some sort of weird Stranger Things show like that, we would be great consultants. We have heard it all from over 1,000 people. We got 1 million different angles for your show. So GrammaticAmerica.com.
So here he is. I don't really believe Christ can be cloned, but I'm too schizo to not find it interesting. Considering transhumanism, Scientology, Stranger Things, and conspiracies in general are all over the timeline right now, this theory might actually be worth exploring too. Finally, transhumanism is the idea that people will evolve and become superhuman once they merge with machines and become an interstellar species. Believe it or not, this idea was inspired by Nietzsche's Superman concept. The Nazis adopted Nietzsche's philosophy and tried to make mind control super soldiers. And MK Ultra was a continuation of these experiments in the US. I'm going to try and read it from the other page. Here we go. Funny enough, some MK Ultra experiments were performed on unsuspecting hippies who were offered LSD. I think that was the Midnight Climax operation. This happened during the counterculture revolution in the 60s when America first heard the term conspiracy theory. Let's try one more spot here. After the assassination of JFK, many books about this ritualistic death and the Illuminati were published by Discordian authors. Discordians were a group of occultists who believed transhumanism and Aleister Crowley's goddess worship would help humanity defeat the evil Christian elite. Interesting. Think of like Colin's elite, maybe. Now, transhumanism is promoted by Musk, who wants to colonize Mars, the planet Crowley claimed his alien gods lived on after migrating from Sirius. So that's interesting. Ironically, the Nazi rocket scientist von Braun predicted a man named Elon would colonize Mars. I mean, I don't know if he predicted it. He wrote it in a book. He wrote it in a novel. I don't think that's the same unless you're, talking about the occult prediction, like, that being an occult prediction or whatever they call that.
Power could go out. So
your power. Okay.
You know what it's from? Is it got so foggy for so long? It's been foggy for like 4 days. And it accumulates. It's been foggy, but before that, it was kind of warm. For whatever reason, there seems to be some moisture in the air. And it's like, so we got the hoarfrost.
Yeah, we got that too.
It's like the hoarfrost building on hoarfrost, building on hoarfrost. So now the trees are starting to sag. And like, I went and tried to scrape it off my antenna because my antenna is like 10, 20 times wider than it is now with this snow. And it's like, I notice it's just going crazy when I'm driving down the highway and I don't want it to break off. So I just went to scrape it all off and it's pretty solid. It was on there pretty solid. And so the power lines are covered in this shit too.
Oh my God. This is like the ice storms. This is kind of what happened.
And there was just a little bit of wind when I was driving to town the other day and you could see them all just shaking. And I was like, man, if it gets windy. So sure enough, our power went out a bunch of times last night.
Oh, what?
My wife just said right now in town, there's people on the.
Oh no! All right. Well, if that's what if it goes out, we know what happened. Jamie Rainwater says in the chats, on an unrelated note, he's going on a ghost hunt next week with an old high school band teacher. Well, let us know how that goes, Jamie. Hope you're doing well.
Don't get diddled. Don't get diddled. All right, continue.
So interstellar travel wouldn't even be possible without Jack Parsons, a student of Crowley who worked for NASA, which like MK Ultra was created with help from Germany. It might sound crazy, but Parsons invented rocket fuel while doing magical experiments with the Naval Intelligence Officer Hubbard. I didn't know L. Ron Hubbard was Naval Intelligence, or is that just the OSS before CIA? Because this all happened right around the beginning of the CIA.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
In fact, they tried to summon Crowley's mother goddess together in 46, right before one of the biggest UFO waves in American history. We've talked about that a lot. Then Hubbard went on to found the Church of Scientology, which promises its members immortality through cloning and other space-age technologies. However, Hubbard and Parsons both wanted to be the Antichrist, so they started a magical war with each other. Supposedly, this is why Parsons died in a chemical explosion in 52. Afterwards, his witchy wife went insane and started having visions. She said alien saviors from Mars would rescue people in UFOs during the apocalypse her husband had intentionally initiated. So we're getting back to Mars again here, right? Saviors from Mars. Parsons believed the mother goddess he summoned would bring about the end of this age, allowing a golden age free from religion to begin, or what Crowley called the new aeon. According to followers of Crowley, the new aeon will belong to magical kids called moon children. And speaking of that, I don't think he puts it here, but Trump was born on the next full blood moon after that Crowley ritual, and he's bringing in the golden age. So, I mean, that it's just kind of too weird to be coincidence only. With all this in mind, isn't it strange that the White House is tweeting about the golden age? Isn't it strange that Epstein is in the news too? Apparently, he was sex trafficking people for a transhumanist agenda. Even more odd, some of his surviving victims claim they were abducted by UFOs at his ranch before being operated on. So what does Stranger Things have to do with any of this? Well, the Netflix show was actually based on the legendary conspiracy theory called the Montauk Project, which was supposedly a continuation of a Nazi super soldier program and Crowley's plan to create an army of psychic moon children, hence Stranger Things' hero. The Montauk Project was popularized by a series partly true but mostly fictional books written by people who were probably hucksters and agents. They were known to hang around certain scientists in Project Stargate, which was basically the CIA's attempt to rebrand MK Ultra as something new agey and cool. Anyways, one of the authors, Preston Nichols, had a relationship with Andrea Puharich, who ran a very real mind control operation on supposed alien abductees, mediums, and children in Maine. Preston does not mention this, though. Instead, he claimed Montauk, New York, was where kidnapped children were taken. I mean, it goes so much deeper than this. This Nick's thing just scratches the surface. I mean, Puharich was the stepfather of Parsons. So there's that connection. There's the connection with Ghislaine and Frank Molina, you know, that connects to the Suicide Squad rocket group. I mean, it gets pretty deep. He also claimed that this was because Montauk was the location of a portal opened by Crowley, which the government had built a laboratory on top of. I mean, this is what Stranger Things was, right? It was called Camp Hero, and it really exists. What really happened there is questionable, though, considering Preston made even crazier claims. He said the scientists that were using technology invented by Tesla to widen the magical portal and make it capable of teleporting kids to other planets, as well as sending them forwards and backwards in time. The kids, of course, had to sit in a magical chair and power this portal with their psychic abilities, just like in Stranger Things. But what Stranger Things never mentioned was that Preston claimed came through the portal. Apparently, it wasn't a demogorgon, but it was a creature similar to Bigfoot. According to real-life subjects of Project Stargate, Bigfoot is an alien from Mars. So this is kind of an interesting detail. Preston said that beings from Sirius came through the portal too, and gave the scientists the internet. This definitely sounds fake. However, it seems somewhat symbolic. The World Wide Web was actually created at CERN, which does look like a portal. It was also created with the help of ufologists like Jacques Vallée, who worked on ARPANET. Funny enough, Vallée also made the first computerized map of Mars. And speaking of Mars, hasn't Elon talked about buying CERN? Didn't he name his company after Tesla? Didn't Trump's uncle have access to Tesla's time travel documents? But I digress. Preston's claims go on and on. The most famous example of Montauk's supposed connection to the Philadelphia experiment, another legendary half-true conspiracy theory. So I don't think I'm going to get into Philadelphia. We kind of know about that. There was something about Christ's crucifixion. Most interesting part comes when they travel back time to Christ. They travel back to Christ's crucifixion and take some of his blood so they could use the DNA to clone him and create the Antichrist. They plan to put an android brain in the clone so they can control it in the second coming. I guess they did this very, very far away.
When the Antichrist comes back, it'll be on pay-per-view.
At an underground facility on Mars. So maybe Elon already has a transhumanist colony there. Maybe the Martian saviors Parsons' wife talked about looked like Jesus. I highly doubt any of this, but I do believe they will try to pull a very schizophrenic psyop at some point, and that will include a little bit of everything, so it might deceive everyone. So they're talking about, yes, it seems they're staging these fictions to appear real. Why else would they tell us CERN is literally trying to time travel? And why would the Vatican work with CERN? And then they talk about the DNA in the Shroud of Turin. That show we did not too long ago about the Shroud of Turin. Didn't they have access to Christ's DNA in that shroud? But some Vatican scientists really think it was, of course, JPL. Did you know that Jack Parsons first studied the shroud? I don't know if
there is DNA in the shroud, is there? It's just like some sort of weird other thing. It's not as simple as DNA. It's like some sort of light phenomena.
I think we asked about that, right?
Yeah, it's like protons or something where it made it through it.
So I think I'm gonna stop there on this one because I do want. I mean, he does get further into some other stuff there about that. In one of the time machines in Dark, that's the show from Europe. It's supposed to be better than Stranger Things. Even appears to be Montauk chair, sensory deprivation chamber.
Huh.
But then, what's interesting is, yes, I do have something about CERN here. CERN's quantum computer just found something that shouldn't exist. I mean, when people talk about CERN being weird and they are admitting a lot of these things. This is just from like Boxing Day, humbling and exhilarating. In March 2024, so not even a year ago, deep beneath the border of France and Switzerland, something unprecedented happened. CERN's quantum computer uncovered a discovery that defies the laws of physics as we know them. In this video, we dive deep into the groundbreaking research exploring how quantum tech is reshaping the universe, our understanding of it. This revelation could change everything we thought about science. It suggests we live not on the surface of reality, but in one of the many layers, that the atoms we're made of, the light we see, the thoughts we think might all rest on a foundation we never perceived. So that's pretty interesting, eh? So they talk about this being a reality check, but then they also get into this observer breath, how to reshape reality from within. So talking about like heart math and manifestation and breathing and all this stuff, and it being the end of a 2,600-year cycle. But I mean, it does just open up a bunch of can of worms because of CERN's official admittance of certain things about like portals and time travel and stuff like that. So.
Time travel. All right, should we get out of here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, second half of show, guys. GrowAmericaOutlawed.ca. Sign up today. It's only $6 a month. You get the whole second half, and it'll be awesome. You can get it on video. You can get it on audio, and you can check out GrowAmerica.ca for other podcasts. Contact at thecabin.com for trips and events, and adultbrain.ca for audiobooks and ebooks. You want to get us started?
Oh boy, I don't really want to get us started on this, but I guess I have.
All right, let me get us started.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
You can.
I have a long Alex Jones clip that probably just.
Oh boy.
Do you have the Alex Jones?
You know what? Before I start, no, I don't have that Alex Jones clip, but I've got clips of him getting excoriated from other people about all this. But what I do want to say is I'm not like hanging my hat on any of these theories. I'm going to read a bunch of different opinions. It doesn't mean that I agree with anything that's going on. I don't know what to think right now. You know, I don't like this